All right. So today we're going to do a 5 minute, I swear, I hope to God it's 5 minute, a 5 minute demo of Creatie.ai, a link I just sent to Justin. And Justin is the designer on the team here. So let's get rocking.
Let's see what we got here. Turn ideas into stunning designs in a breeze with Creatie.ai. Design made delightful with AI magic that amps up the fun for teams creating the world's wonders together. Okay. That doesn't really tell me much.
It should look a lot like Figma. They have an integration with Figma to pull your shit in. So keep going.
Yeah, I'm just trying to like get my head around like what this does. Okay.
Vectorize or remove backgrounds from any image. Vectorize any image is always a fun thing, right?
Vectorize is interesting for sure. Obviously not any image. I could hand it an image that it would choke on to make a vector, but most images, yeah. Create a wizard, go beyond the blank page and start creating. Okay.
Just log in. You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah,
You're
I just want to see the main feature shirt design. So this is a real big pain in the ass and is something that I think and this is a big pain in the ass.
I
These two things are pretty interesting.
the animations are really nice and subtle,
Let's
just generally.
see. Yeah. Let's see how this looks. This Zoom screen drives me crazy. It is. Oh, there we go. Okay. Let's see. Set up your username. It's a weird thing to do. Can I not do that? Nope. Sure. I'm a UX designer. Oh my lord, guys, come on. Can I please just go to the software? Thank you. I don't want this. I don't want to learn. By the way, y'all, what you're
But
watching me do is what almost all users do. So when you build your walkthroughs and you build your little tours and stuff like that, it's good for like 5% of users. Just so that we know. Don't be like, they didn't understand, they didn't watch the walkthroughs, because almost everybody's going to hit skip. Nobody wants that.
I will say I love the rotating import button. That is so nicely
Oh,
done.
let me see this real quick.
Look at the import button. It
Oh,
just
that's really cool. That's a neat little pattern. I like that. That is pretty neat. That is cool. Okay, create a frame, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I don't want to see any of this. Can I please close this? Thank you. Where's the X? Thank you. Oh my God. Stop it. Wow, they ripped Figma off. Uh,
drag a, create a thing. Now they do have a
uh
whole bunch of pre-made files for you to like learn with, right?
yeah,
So
that's okay. We can, okay, let's build a frame here.
right click on the bitch and see what it does. It looks
Right
like
now, we just have Figma.
so what are the buttons on the top then? Is there an AI button?
Hang on. God, I get this Zoom video keeps covering up everything. Um,
So one, I have to say, using Figma as your design language, there you go, the AI wizard, a magic icon.
mhm.
Yeah, go ahead and try it. One of those.
That's weird. Do I?
Oh,
Oh, okay.
snaps.
So list view of homes.
Try just list view or a list.
Or just view. Okay, so this is just pre-built components. This is nothing AI. But I mean, cool. Like it's like using component libraries in Figma. I mean, I am 100% in favor of this. I think
Hey,
this is you should not custom design almost anything
well, not
anymore.
to mention that was a lot easier than the way Figma's work right now, where you have to go to the community,
You have
find
to go
it.
over here and basically you have to like find in your assets, you have to find a library and
And
then you
that's
have to
assuming you have it, or you have to go to the community first and install the asset.
Mm-hmm.
So that's better. What's the
That's
AI?
definitely better.
What's the AI one next to it?
That's Magicon. So this is just making an icon.
All
So I could
right.
say like
Yeah, so we've talked about this, so let's try it.
house with the roof on fire. The roof is on
Oh,
fire.
you could have done a solid for Bobby and just generated a bunch of houses with broken tiles on the
I
roof.
could. I could. Uh and so you can pick a style. That's
Um,
cool.
I really like the preview of the style. I hate when they give you 50 styles with no reference for what the
Yeah,
styles
right,
mean.
right, right. Yeah.
And even okay, so
Okay. Telephone, weird snowman looking thing.
yeah, so they're not very good yet.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Um,
Go back to the other user handbooks just to see what their instructions are, and we'll call it a day. Because so they have one to guide you through each of the different things. Design auditor, which is probably what you
mhm.
care about the most anyway. So why don't you try it?
Well, this I would definitely like to use
Oh,
because this is a problem that let's just do color.
oh, I love that.
Uh, this is nice. You can select a design system, so it will basically like, uh, why can't I? Do I have to do this? I guess so. Okay. Um, Oh, so it's okay. So this is awesome. This is great. I actually had this exact thought about 8 weeks ago. I was like, what I want is I want like the so in a lot of design tools, you have a thing like that is snap to grid. And you'll know like when you design, you can kind of feel it snap onto like a grid, right? And I said like, I don't know, a couple months ago, I was like, what I want is I want snap to grid for colors to where like if there's a color that's close to another color, it'll just snap over to that color, right? So that like everything sort of snaps into the same thing. That's exactly what they're doing here. It's exactly
So
what they're doing.
yeah, go
They're
ahead,
basically
apply.
rounding colors.
Yeah, hit apply.
So it just went through and just did that.
Okay, so like that's pretty neat. Um,
That is pretty cool, right? It has not much to do with AI. I mean, maybe they're using some AI, but you don't have to use AI to do this, right? This is pretty simple color math and text matching and like some basic logic, but maybe AI makes it easier. Um, so that's pretty interesting. I definitely think that's interesting. You know, what I wish is that I really wish that this was a plugin for Figma. Because
I
here's the problem that I have with things like this from a product strategy standpoint is I'm not going to move my workflow over to Creatie. I have so much invested in Figma right now. I have a team of 65 people that all have learned Figma, that rely on Figma. I have tons of accounts in there. It's like I'm locked into the Figma ecosystem,
what
which
did Peter Thiel say? Right? Do you remember about this from 0 to 1? You have to be 10 times better to charge the same price and get somebody to move from an existing product to a different product
yeah, I mean, at least. Yeah.
because it's such a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, absolutely. It's such a pain in the ass. And so it's like what I
All right.
I don't know. I think it's problematic because like if I am in the shoes of Creatie, right? If I'm the CEO of Creatie or chief product officer, and I'm trying to think about like the product strategy, am I going to go build an editor like this, or am I going to try to build really premium plugins for Figma? And just
Here's what let me just do a guess. Okay. You want to
yeah,
know what my guess is, my hypothesis.
hmm.
They started creating this when it was announced that Figma would be bought by Adobe because they realized that a lot of people hate Adobe. And then Figma's Adobe deal fell off through, and they were probably 80% through.
Yeah, maybe, maybe.
Because that, I mean, the unfortunate thing is if they're well funded, kudos to them. You know, like Figma taking on Adobe. I remember a certain guy who's the one wearing a hat on the show telling me that Figma was stupid and why
It
would you ever
was.
use it? Because Adobe's so much better.
I published a blog post to that end in 2018.
So this is the constant give and take in product, right? Do you build on someone else's ecosystem or do you try to build a brand new one? Um, and I like tackling Figma would have been stupid 2 years ago or whenever. But when as soon as they announced that they were merging with Adobe, that actually opened up a potential avenue for client acquisition. Because a lot of people don't want to work in the Adobe ecosystem. So
Yeah.
if that was the impetus, I could agree with it.
Hmm. Yeah, I go back. I'm on the fence, but I definitely see the argument for sure.
Anyway,
Um,
it's neat.
because this product has to have taken a while and a fair amount of money to build.
Yes.
It's not an easy thing to build, y'all. Like, really at all. Um, but I do love this auditor. I think it's a really cool feature. I wish it was a plugin. I wish these folks made a plugin for Figma. I would use it today. I have like actual things I would use this for today.
Try the image enhancer real quick, and then we'll call it a day. So we can try to spend at least 30 minutes on our stated goal. I guys,
Um,
I love these instructional boards like this that guide you through how to do it.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
So right click on
Image
it.
enhancer. My lord, y'all.
Outpaint. Yeah, sure.
What does Outpaint do?
Outpaint expands the image. So when
Oh, paints it out. Right. I love how we make up like cryptic words to describe things that should just say extend image, extend beyond canvas.
did you ever see that book that was like based on the most 200 most used words in the English language and only using those words? And
Oh,
so
but I love that.
it was like describing a helicopter, which is not one of the most used words. And I think it was like um, moving thing with blades, or I don't know. I gotta find this.
Um, okay, it didn't do anything. It's just the same.
Oh, we didn't change the size of
Oh,
the
I guess I
image.
have to change the. Oh, okay. So that's like, oh, I've got an image in X aspect ratio, but I need to fill it in. Okay, that is actually useful. I was wondering how it was going to do this. I was like, what is it going to use as the boundaries for the outpaint? But like now it makes sense. This is pretty useful because this is a problem that does come up a lot. I have this problem a lot when I'm designing, which is I will have an image that just won't fit into a space because of its aspect ratio and its orientation. And you'll do all kinds of tricks to try to like cover up and like all that kind of thing. Yeah, that's cool. That's pretty fucking cool.
The book is called Thing Explainer.
Thing explainer.
Yeah, complicated stuff in simple words.
Oh, I love that. Everybody should read that because man, people love to use complicated language
Well,
instead of
so
just
like the word
describing something.
rocket was upgoer or skyboat.
Skyboat. Upgoer. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Microwave ovens were food heating radio boxes.
So this is what I was talking about with
Sorry.
like, I can't see how it could vectorize something like this.
All right, so try it.
Doesn't make sense that it would be able to vectorize this, but I bet you it's gonna change. I mean, like, okay, this is a photo. We're gonna
Yep.
say this is a,
Yes.
well, I guess it's an illustration.
All right. Do vectorize. Pencils were writing sticks. Like, I mean, guys, I love simple language, but holy crap, if you really did that, all your conversations would be 10 times longer.
Oh, absolutely. What is this?
Is it done?
Well, it just, yeah, it said it was, but it didn't do anything. Select one and
Select.
apply it. Yeah, like I said, it's gonna choke on something like this. I mean, there's no way you can. Oops. Uh,
No,
oh,
it's done.
oh, wait, did it?
It did.
Oh, it did. Oh, wow. Okay. I, I, I mean, obviously it looks like garbage, but
It's
that's
it's
what
been
you would expect.
it's been pixelated a little bit, but
Well, it has to be because you can't vectorize finely shaded gradients, right? Like you have to end up basically doing these like nearest neighbor like approximations.
but
Um,
it's recognizable.
oh, it's definitely recognizable. And I mean, obviously, you would not try to vectorize a photo or something like this. Like that, fundamentally, that's what I'm curious about, actually. Sorry, let me do one more thing here, which is what that might mean, though, is that I can then scale that obviously
Infinitely because it's vector.
infinitely,
Yeah.
which you could not get from a photo. Now, obviously, you're not going to get the resolution, so you got to be okay with the resolution drop because of the aliasing.
Yeah, but I
But
mean, if you were making a billboard, right? Like that's good enough quality for a billboard.
yeah, probably so. And again, you wouldn't really ever do this to an image. You would just use a more high quality image, right? Like this is kind of solving a problem that really shouldn't probably exist for a photo. But if you have something that's a line drawing or a logo or something like that that you want to vectorize, oh, 100%. I think this is definitely interesting. I mean, one thing that just made me think of is this is a really good way to yank out UI components because I could go to a website and take a screenshot of a list view that I like, pull it into this, vectorize it, and now I've essentially designed a list view, taken it from a photo into this, and like yanked that component out of another app.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of an interestingly compelling use for this, maybe. I'd like to try that and see
Well,
how that works.
that's it for today. Creatie,
Hmm.
you know,
Got some interesting things for sure. I mean, I'm not going to use it instead of Figma, but
impressive product.
yeah,
And unlike Justin, I won't say I won't use it instead of Figma. I will say right now, most of my workflow is in Figma. And so I will continue to use Figma as my primary, but I will probably start to explore Creatie for specific use cases. So,
yeah, it would be cool. One thing that would be cool, just as one final kind of thought about this, is that if there is some kind of integration with Figma that's like import from Figma, export to Figma, so this thing can act like an extension of Figma. And I just want to see if there's any kind of first class support for that. No. Um, I mean, they have ripped Figma off pixel by pixel. It is crazy. Um, so I think if there was more first class Figma integration, this would make a lot of sense to me as like a little factory you can send things out to do some work on and come back into Figma. I think that would make a lot of sense to me. I think that this is going to be difficult to work into my workflow because it's just going to fracture my workflow against two different apps that don't really play great together now. I might be able to copy and paste something from here into Figma. So that could maybe work if they're using the same like file structure
well, they
underneath
said that there's
or
an
the
import. The import had Figma.
Right. It's not the import. It's back the other way. I can
Yeah.
get something from, I assume they can import Figma files. It's that I want to take what it creates and get it back into Figma. Basically, that's the direction that I think is, I'd be curious to explore. But I really like the direction of it. I think it's really interesting and it does a lot of really powerful shit. And yeah, I'll probably play around with it a little bit for some of the style guide creation and kind of cleaning up some of the uh yeah, whatever it's called. Um Duplicate styles, the whatever, the auditor. I think the auditor's, to me, one of the more useful components of it right now.
I would tend to agree. All
Yeah.
right. Ciao.